finally got around to seeing Batman. Well, I guess it's the Batman. Hey everybody, this is Tom with Tom's Tech Show. I, I have my other channels now. I have Tom's Talk Show where we talk about, politics and social stuff and pop culture and whatever's in the news and stuff. So you want to talk about that, head on over to Tom's Talk Show. There'll be a link in the description. I'm also going to start doing stuff on Twitch. I have a Twitch channel. I'm going to link that below as well. I play a bunch of different games, mostly Star Wars games around there every so often. So if you want to catch up on that and just kind of, hang out over there and just kind of talk about stuff, then that'd be great if you want to do that. But today, we finally decided my Mrs. Tech Show had a birthday, and we sent her off to be and do Harry Potter stuff at Universal and get a robe and a wand and everything else over the last weekend, so we didn't get to see the Batman at that time. So finally getting around to doing that, and I watched a couple of reviews, watched a couple of different people's comments about it before I went in, because I wanted to, I didn't want to, some movies you want to not spoil yourself, and keep completely clean about it, but this I knew was going to be completely kind of a really different take on Batman, so I wanted to be able to prepare myself before I went in to see that. And I want to say I liked it. Like I said, I want to say I liked it, but I'm going to give it like a 6.5. Maybe after I sit with it for a while, I'll move it up to a 7 out of 10. But right now, I'm like 6.5. I mean, I think I would prefer a little bit more comic booky kind of, where there's things that you have to, dispel the element of belief, like that a man can have a cape that he can pop out and it will harden into a little, like kite behind him, and he can actually fly off buildings. Well, that doesn't happen here. So, those kinds of things. That you have to dispel the belief that there's gravity that's going to send him straight to the ground, which is what would probably happen, if you tried to do that. But he can still, fly off, kind of thing, as in other Batman movies. So, some of those things are a little, a little off. So I know it's, it's going to be kind of different. So I mean, a few things. So we'll just kind of go through some photos and stuff as we're going through this. Yes, it's him looking out on the city. And there he is in his suit, and that's one of the problems I think I found with the film is, he's Batman for like 90% of the film, even when he's wandering around with, Gordon, kind of wandering around doing things and finding out information. All the time he's in his batsuit. He's never not in the batsuit, and that kind of leads to, there was the thought that, and the rumor, whatever that came out, that Pattinson wasn't cooperating and he was only giving, like 5-word, given like 5-word lines to spew out every once in a while and stuff like that. Well, he's always having to play, this Mr. Attitude in the batsuit. So he ends up only, being very curt and short, with the phrases that he's given. He's, trying to portray mystery and darkness and everything else in the batsuit, but he's in the batsuit for 90% of the movie. So he has to do that through 90% of the movie. The one time towards the end, and I'm just going to put my little spoiler banner up here so that I'm going to be talking about stuff. So towards the end, when he's there with it's Andy Serkis as Alfred, when he's there, doing, talking to him, he finally starts going, "Oh, we're, this is going on, this is happening, this is what I'm finding out, this is what's been going on, blah blah blah, and all this stuff." It keeps and goes on his little dissertation. I mean, he has like, he strings together like 8 or 10 long sentences, and I'm like, okay, so when he's Bruce Wayne, he does that. When he's Batman, he's like, you know, this looks bad. What do you think of that? I'm going, very short, to the point phrases. So I don't know. Maybe if they had, maybe the next one that they hint at towards the end, maybe they're going to do a little bit more, and have him out of the bat suit and as Bruce Wayne more often. I think that would help to build story. Um, they had a lot of intertwining pieces in the story, you know, about things, and some of it, maybe would have been better, with him as Bruce Wayne instead of as Batman, but it ends up, always being Batman. So some of the things, let's see, the music was good. There's the you know dun 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 dun, dun that's Star Wars. So it's kind of close to that, dun, 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 but it only goes down. It doesn't go up. Dun, 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 dun. It just goes dun, 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 kind of thing. So that was kind of interesting. That which somebody in a review had mentioned that was it was always the this lower downbeat kind of music, except for the songs. There were some songs that came through there, and it was just like, okay, we're going from this music, now we're just throwing in some kind of pop song, some song that we think fits here, and we're doing some kind of semi, music video shots and stuff. And I'm like, let's. So if you would take those out, then the movie wouldn't be three hours long, and you would still have the same movie. So that would be fine, right? Let's get an edited version down to where not all that stuff is in there, and then it won't seem like it drags on a bit, which it does drag on a bit for the 3 hours. Um, so and there's a part uh, towards the end where they catch the guy, and then more bad things happen afterwards, because the Riddler has set up things to happen afterwards, which there's the flooding and the decimating of the city in the end. So there's no real. So the big thing about it is there is no real direct confrontation between the Riddler and Batman, right? I mean, most other Batman films will have, there'll be some direct one-on-one confrontation. It's something about, something about the Batman has triggered something in the villain, and he's using what he's doing to get back at him, or whatever. So that never happens. The Riddler is kind of playing the Batman. The Riddler is actually much smarter in this movie than Batman is. Batman doesn't do much in an investigation. I mean, he opens a couple of books, but most of the other investigation is done by other people. So, I mean, he gets some information along the way as he talks to people, but a lot of it is he needs a lot of help, and I think it loses something in that it doesn't have any direct confrontation. But the Riddler is not a very daunting person. He can't, I mean, it would be a very, he would need something to, be part of it. He likes strapping explosives to people and stuff in the film. And, maybe that could be it, where that's his power over Batman at a certain time, where they kind of do that, but he's on the phone. So it's not really, that direct confrontation and stuff. But there's no, I mean, they do it once he gets into Arkham and behind glass. So he's, the Riddler's on one side of the glass and Batman's on the other side, and they have a dialogue conversation, but there's no fight. I mean, there couldn't, I don't know if there actually be a fight between them because the Riddler's just a little Weasley guy. So, that would have been very difficult to do to pull off. So, some other things. Apparently, when Batman is with James Gordon, they just walk through into the police station, into crime scenes, into whatever. He can be there, at any time. He's not really super vigilante Batman. He's like, hey, I'm gruff Batman, but I'll still come and help and stand around in my suit and be around with the police. So that was a little odd that he wasn't like full, vigilante. If you find him, haul him in, kind of thing. Most of the bad guys are mafia types in the film. John Turturro and Colin Farrell play excellent characters. Basically, Colin Farrell is like not even recognizable. That's Colin Farrell. I'm like, that is not Colin Farrell, but that is Colin Farrell. So they do really well at what they do, and John Turturro is always good at playing kind of a mafia role and stuff, and does excellent here. They do some weird things in putting a lot of shots are out of focus all the time. So, I mean, they're doing it on purpose. They're trying to kind of hide what's going on, but it's like you're hiding, you as an editor of the film have had access to the script, you had access to rehearsal, you've had access to the actor, the directors, everything, and you've filmed this thing, 3 or 4 takes, and you've gone through and, been through it, watched it multiple times, and edited it multiple times. So if there's something that you want the audience to know, you had better make it clear on screen, because we're only seeing it for the 3 seconds that it's on screen. And if you're going to blur it for us, then it's not going to work, right? Things need to be clear. And too often, they're looking at something and there's rain falling on the glass, so it has to be blurred. No, you don't have to have the rain fall on the glass that much. You can make it so that the audience can see kind of what's going on. And this was happening all the time. Many kind of out of the focus shots all the time. There was another different thing about the shots. We'd have the, time for a music video music, and then there'd be a shot of someone doing something really close. Then they'd switch to another shot of a little bit further away. Then they'd switch to a little bit further away. And it's like, okay, I get it. You could have just had like a medium shot and panned out a little bit, as the motorcycle drove by. But no, you got to go close, then you got to, and you can't, I guess they didn't have the ability or whatever to pan out, that far as different things were going on. It's almost like, they were shooting it on an iPhone and they wanted to use, the selective focus thing sometimes. And so they didn't have that great zoom range of the lens, so they had to go close and take a video there, and they had to go a little bit further, take a video there, and they had to go a little bit further away, take another video there. And so it was like they were limiting themselves or something. But really odd choices. I looked up who the cinematographer was. It's this Greg Fraser person, and he did Dune, which was amazing. There were some amazing shots there. Rogue One was good in how the cinematography, how it was shot and everything else. Now, the reason I say it's like maybe he was using an iPhone is because the one video he did right before the Batman here is iPhone 13 Pro, Hollywood in your pocket. So it's like, okay, yeah, some of these things that they were taking video of and how it was done really kind of looked iPhone-y. Looked like, okay, this is in focus, tap there. This is in focus, tap there. Okay, now they're speaking, so tap there. and it, I don't know, it was distracting, and I would prefer, like I said, you've seen it over and over again, you've done it over and over again, you've been through the whole process over and over and over and over again. I'm seeing the movie once. I don't have all that time to sit there and try and. You can't sit there and analyze. Okay, what are these things in this shot that are out of focus that I need to try and figure out what it is, and then you switch to the next scene, and I got to go figure out what's in this scene that's kind of out of focus, right? So, or you're sitting there doing your jump shots with close, medium, medium, close, and then some of the shots in the middle were like, okay, we want to shoot this guy who's doing something in this room, so we're going to back way up and shoot through an open window that's got like a little teeny tiny hole in the middle like that, and that's in the middle of the screen, and you're supposed to try. Okay, all right, if you're trying to do something artsy or whatever, fine, but do that for less time, and let's get in and see what's going on. Much too much of the movie were those kinds of shots, and that really took away from the film. Really took away from the story for me. So then there was this thing that we were having kind of an argument about as we walked out, which was so Batman is, he's got the black cowl on, and then of course around his eyes is all blacked out. So, and his eyes are fairly black. So what they would do is they would take and they would have, okay, we're going to shoot this scene. Okay, look all the way to the left. And then you'd get the white of his eyes, and then they would shine light on him so that his eyes would light up. He would get a catch light, and there would be a really heavy catch light because his eyes are off to the left, and it's lighting up the white of his eyes more in the shot. So, and they would do that all the time. It's like they were playing with something. I don't know. Some guy got his like I got this LED ring light here. Somebody just went down to Target and got one of these little ring lights. Here, we can use this. I need to use my ring light. I need to set it up, and we'll just stick it there. Okay, look right. Okay, hit it on the eyes. Okay, see, my ring light works really well. Kind of thing. And that was like every 10th scene or whatever was one of those. Anytime they got close, it's like, oh, look to the side so we can put the catch light in there. Every single time. So okay, if you're maybe it's a process of having too much time to do something, that you're paying attention to too many details rather than letting the movie kind of flow. So I don't know. Another last thing is, if you're going expecting a lot of Batman-y gadgets, you're not getting them. So about the only, he has a little grappling hook that he uses to move around and in different scenes. And then one scene where he jumps off the building is he's got a squirrel suit on. Or if you've seen one of those where the guy, has the little suit that fills with air, and then they jump off buildings and they go, through, kind of flying squirrel kind of through the air. So he has one of those, and that's what he uses to jump off the building, which he gets rid of his cape. He takes his cape and zips it up. So he doesn't have a cape when he's flying. So it kind of defeats the image of a Batman. It's more Squirrel Man because he's in the flying squirrel suit when he jumps off the building. So you're not, there's not a lot of height. He has like a basic souped up car that they decided to put a little blue flame out the back. And then he has just like a regular motorcycle. So not a lot of high-tech gadgets and stuff. He has a little thing that he puts in his eye for recording thing, a contact lens thing that has technology in it that will record things, and that he can go back and replay back in his cave, as it were. They do find at one point, this is what kind of threw me a little bit, they find a USB drive in a car from one of the people that the Riddler harmed in the film, And they immediately go and take this USB drive and they just stick it in any computer that's connected to the police network, by all things. So I'm like, I'm a computer person, and we had drills at a company that I worked at where we would take and put programs onto a thumb drive, and we would drop those thumb drives, a couple of them, in the parking lot to see if any of them made it back into the computers in the building. And once we did that, we would go to the person and say, you did something wrong. You picked up a thumb drive in the street and put it in your work computer. Well, the potential for that to destroy the entire computer network is highly great. It's extremely great, because you don't want to pick up thumb drives off streets and put them in anything. A standalone, completely erasable, air-gapped computer, if you really want to see what's on the thumb drive, then maybe. But just to stick it in there, I mean, that really, it's like, okay, we're going to be super high-tech about the little thing in his eye, the contact lens in the eye that can record stuff, and he can go back and replay things and everything else like that. But nope, we're just going to stick this thumb drive right in the computer, and there we go. So completely threw me out of that scene altogether, that they didn't, bother, thinking about that and or anything like that. Just, I'm like, really? No. So yeah, so 6.5. I'm thinking 6.5 out of 10 for this movie. It's making money. I mean, what's the Batman box office right now? I'm sure we shall. Batman won the weekend. The numbers, Batman. Okay, the Batman opening weekend 134, domestic box office, worldwide 279. So, and it's been out a week. That's good. I mean, it's not Dark Knight Rises, which is the $1 million or the $1 billion mark, and the Dark Knight, which is close to the $1 billion mark. But yeah, so that it's gonna do pretty good, I would think, in the theater. Day 13. I don't know which one it is. Not really showing me. So, I mean, they're gonna make another one, obviously, and that's good. It's just different, right? It's just really different. There were a few things that took me out of the film, and that's it. So there you go. That is my thoughts and everything about Batman, or the Batman. And I mean, it's a good one see. I mean, I don't think I would go back to see it. Let's see. The Ghostbusters is a multiple C. Obviously, going to that multiple times, right? I mean, that's good. Spider-Man is a multiple viewing kind of thing. So this is a go see it once. I mean, see it on the big screen in the theater, and you'll be okay with it. You'll get your money out of it, I think. So, all right, what do you think? Did you see it? Did you like it? Are you gonna go see it twice? Are you gonna see the second one? Are you, do you think in comparison to the other ones, there was no huge, ginormous, like the Dark Knight, there was no huge, ginormous half-hour, 45-minute backstory at the beginning? I think they kind of gave it to you for granted that somehow he had tragedy in his life and he became Batman. So that was one thing, I guess, that was kind of okay. I mean, maybe a 10 or 15-minute, backstory thing at the beginning. Maybe we'll do that in the second one. They'll do a whole bunch of flashbacks. Oh, that would be horrible. But anyway, thanks for watching, and take care.